Today, the corner bank is as common as a coffee shop and equally imposing.
For some, this is a phone.
It's kind of surprising there are buildings at all
For Susan,
when your bank is in the cloud.
it's an entire bank.
But it wasn't always this way. The bank used to be synonymous with imposing, even monumental. Like this one, built in 1924. Now called Gotham Hall, it's a venue for weddings and special occasions.
This was the last great classical bank built in New York City, and probably in the United States. The columns are 5 feet in diameter of solid limestone. They're 40 feet high.
Charles Balfour is an architect and historian.
You'd go into the tiniest town in America, and you'd find this really ornate classical bank. Even as a kid, I knew it was a fancy building and that it was a special building, just like a church would be.
Like a church, the coffered ceiling and soaring pillars were intended to inspire awe and reverence for money.
The vault was sort of the heart. They were these bright, shiny objects of strength.
And the vault was a showpiece, built to be seen, admired, and trusted.
They wanted to show the depositor that their money was absolutely safe.
But it was an illusion. Banks could fail, and often did.
Throughout America's financial history, hundreds and hundreds of banks failed, and the depositors would lose every nickel they had.
And yet, only a year after hundreds of banks went under in the Great Panic of 1893, Bowery Savings Bank built this majestic shrine in downtown Manhattan.
Why did they keep spending money on building astonishing banks if everyone is remembering Grandma lost everything?
Well, they wanted them to forget.
And they did. At the dawn of the Roaring '20s, Bowery built a skyscraper atop America's first branch bank.
70 feet high.
200 feet long.
And it's a branch bank.
Right, a branch bank.
It was called a castle in the clouds, brought to earth. A few years later, the economy came crashing to earth.
The stock market crash has come, and the Great Depression has begun.
Americans blame bankers for the Depression.
But after World War II, the economy booming and optimism rising, banks were back with a new message.
I can almost see the pitch meeting with the bankers around the table. We're building a new bank, and the architect says, transparency.
That architect was Gordon Bunshaft. In 1954, his design for Manufacturers Trust was a transparent building.
It almost seemed like, the people inside would be more honest, about what they were doing.
The vault sat right in the window, not 10 feet from Fifth Avenue. Today, the bank is gone, but the vault is still there, like a jeweled accessory in the window of Ellie Tahari's design store.
That's it.
And escalators that once conveyed customers to the banking floor
And this is where the tellers would have been.
now carry shoppers through the flagship store of Joe Fresh. Ironic that an iconic bank has become a retail store, but fitting, says Charles Balfour, because the bank of today...
It's basically a financial supermarket.
No need to impress. Sit down, have some coffee.
Homey is a big word. They're more like, your living room.
And what of the castles of yesteryear? Some have literally been brought to earth. But some survive and can still dress to impress.